Hi friends. One of the things we're trying to do on the channel is summarize key research pieces that we think are helpful in the work of responding to homelessness, ending homelessness, and advocating for people experiencing homelessness. In today's episode, I want to summarize some of the key findings of research completed by Dr. Cheryl Forchuk with the Lawson Health Research Institute. Dr. Forchuk's research examined the hospitalization records of people experiencing homelessness in Canada going back to 2018. 2018 was an important year inasmuch as that was the year that hospitals across Canada had to start tracking the housing status of people who use their services. What's known is that approximately 30,000 Canadians experiencing homelessness every single year use a hospital. For our American viewers, the population of Canada is pretty close to the population of the state of California. Of the 30,000 people experiencing homelessness every year who used a hospital, we learned that they stay approximately twice as long as housed Canadians, 15.4 days on average for a Canadian experiencing homelessness compared to 8 days on average for a housed Canadian. The cost of keeping a person experiencing homelessness in hospital for that long was almost $17,000 per person. Some quick math would show you that $17,000 per person times approximately 30,000 people is about $500 million per year being spent on hospital costs for people experiencing homelessness. That's almost twice as much as the cost would be for a housed Canadian. Imagine if we took some of that $500 million and invested it more towards housing, primary health care support, preventative medicine, and supports to keep people in housing. Of those who experienced homelessness, who were hospitalized, the three top reasons were substance use at approximately 20% of people who are hospitalized, schizophrenia and related disorders at about 11% of people who are hospitalized, and cellulitis, which is a bacterial infection, accounting for about 7% of people who are hospitalized. Of those who are hospitalized, slightly more than half were male, and about half were younger adults. An important finding also was related to the fact that while Indigenous people account for about 5% of people across Canada, they accounted for more than 30% of people experiencing homelessness who are hospitalized. That is definitely an important finding as it relates to improving Indigenous healthcare, improving access to support services and healthcare services for people who are Indigenous, focusing on primary and preventive care for people experiencing homelessness who are Indigenous, as well as ensuring that Indigenous people from coast to coast to coast across Canada have access to the healthcare services and housing services that they need. So, what does all of this mean? For sure, given the high rate of people who use substances who are hospitalized, it does speak to the need of having a better continuum of resources for people experiencing homelessness who use substances in a way that it impacts their health. This would include treatment and recovery programs that could be rapidly accessed and are free, right through to harm reduction initiatives that can keep people alive until they can consider the possibility of treatment or until that treatment space is available. It speaks to the needs of better responding to people with compromised wellness, in particularly people living with schizophrenia and other related health issues. Mental health first aid, mental health recovery, mental health supports are also critically important for the population. Third, it speaks to the need for primary health care within homelessness response settings, as well as preventive medicine within homelessness response settings, but not to do so in such a way that creates a silo, but in such a way that is integrated with the actual homelessness and housing support response, so that we can support people holistically. Fourth, it speaks to the needs of social determinants of health and looking at housing as a healthcare issue as well as a human right. Fifth, it speaks to equity in healthcare and ensuring Indigenous people are well served in the healthcare system. And finally, it speaks to how we want to invest our precious tax resources across the country. I know for sure I'd much rather see tax resources go into housing and support programs than responding to these health needs in hospitals if it could have been prevented or made less worse with better access earlier upstream. I hope you found this research summary to be helpful. I put a link in the description to Dr. Forchuk's study if you want to take a look at it yourself. Thanks for watching, and please consider subscribing to the channel. Bye for now.